One morning, the world awoke to silence. It was not the silence of peace, nor the hush before dawn, but a hollow, suffocating emptiness. People opened their mouths to greet each other and found nothing came out. Not even a whisper, not even a cough. Entire cities moved like muted films, millions of lips forming words that no longer existed. At first there was panic. Hands clutched throats. Children cried soundlessly. News anchors sat frozen on live television, their mouths moving without a voice to carry their messages. Within hours, the truth became undeniable. Humanity had forgotten how to speak. For days chaos spread. Arguments collapsed into wild gesturing. Traffic piled into snarled wrecks, and doctors could not ask their patients what hurt. Phones buzzed with frantic texts, but no ringtone ever followed. Communication was reduced to frantic scribbles on scraps of paper, or to pointing and shaking heads. The world had lost not only its words, but the very rhythm of life built around them. Courtrooms, schools, parliaments, places where language carried power, stood paralyzed. In the midst of this collapse was Elena, a linguist who had devoted her life to studying ancient languages. She had always feared that spoken traditions were fragile, but she never imagined spoken language itself could vanish. She spent her nights watching old recordings of speeches and songs, not for their content but for the voices, tones, breaths, and inflections now forever gone. Yet she noticed something strange. When she mouthed old words silently to herself, her mind seemed to stir with an echo. Not sound exactly, but memory. She began writing down every gesture and expression people used, and slowly realized that humanity was building a new form of language without knowing it. By the second month, people had become more coordinated. They developed shared signs for food, water, danger, and love. Markets returned, though bartering was filled with misunderstandings. Families invented private gestures to tell stories around the table. The silence, once unbearable, became something else, a strange kind of unity. Without words, lies became harder to weave, and truth had to be shown rather than spoken. Elena saw beauty in it, yet she could not let go of the mystery. Why had voices disappeared? Her search led her to a library basement where she uncovered something chilling. In a forgotten manuscript, a philosopher from centuries ago wrote of a silence curse, a prophecy that one day, when humanity's words had grown too sharp, too filled with deceit and war, the world itself would take them away to protect itself. Elena trembled as she traced the faded ink. Was this a coincidence, or had this moment been inevitable? Determined, she began studying the patterns of silence. She noticed that when people dreamed, they still spoke. Children muttered sounds in their sleep, faint but real. The voices had not vanished. They were locked away, trapped behind the waking world. If humanity could learn to bridge dream and reality, perhaps words could return. She tried an experiment, writing down fragments of her dreams each night. Slowly, the shapes of words came back to her, not on her tongue, but in her mind. Then came the twist she hadn't expected. One night she dreamed not of her own voice, but of thousands of voices chanting together. In the dream they said, "We did not lose speech. You gave it to us." She awoke in terror. It was not humanity that had forgotten language, but language itself that had chosen to leave. Words had grown tired of carrying humanity's anger, manipulation, and false promises. They had retreated into the collective dream, waiting for a time when they could be honored again. Elena faced an impossible choice. She could reveal this truth, though she could only write it, never say it. Or she could let the silence continue, allow people to grow into this new world where gestures spoke more honestly than words ever did. As she stood among the quiet crowd in the city square, watching strangers share food and comfort with nothing but their hands and eyes, she realized perhaps the words were right. Maybe humanity did not deserve them back. Not yet. And so the world remained quiet, bound by silence, but not broken by it. A silence that was not empty, but full of meaning. A silence that might last until people remembered that words are not weapons but gifts. Elena closed her notebook, leaving the last page blank. waiting for the day the voices would choose to return. Would you like me to make the twist darker, like discovering that the words had gained independence and now whispered only among themselves, or keep it philosophical as it is?